Hey ladies and gents, and welcome to my full review of eFootball 2026. This is Konami's latest attempt to push their free-to-play football game forward. After years of ups and downs, this update promises improvements across graphics, gameplay, physics and realism. But has Konami finally delivered a football game worthy of the PES legacy, or are we still waiting for that breakthrough moment? I've spent a lot of time with the game, testing different modes, experimenting with passing systems, shooting mechanics, dribbling, defending, and AI behavior. In this review, I'll go over the positives, the negatives, and everything in between. Starting with the visuals, there's definitely a noticeable improvement. The turf looks sharper with better lighting and textures that make the pitch feel more alive and more realistic. The Konami Stadium is definitely a standout this year, not only because of its updated design, but also because you can fully customize it. This adds some much needed personality to the presentation. Crowd animations, stadium atmosphere and broadcast elements all seem much the same, so it's not a huge generational leap, but the overall package does look a little bit more polished and immersive compared to last year's edition. Passing has seen significant changes. Low passes now travel at a slower, more realistic pace. Sometimes they even feel slightly underhit, which forces you to think carefully about your build-up play instead of relying on constant one-touch passes. Lofted passes can feel sluggish when switching play, but that seems deliberate. Konami clearly wants players to use the stunning lofted passes to quicken the tempo. When executed well, these are incredibly satisfying and open up the game beautifully. Through balls are inconsistent. Low through balls often feel questionable, not always hitting the intended target, and while frustrating, this also makes it harder to create simple chances from deep, which means you need more creativity to break down the defenses. High through balls and scoop through passes, on the other hand, are very effective at the minute and provide a balanced way to unlock the back lines. Crossing has also been adjusted. I find that regular crosses are much slower, giving you more time to position your players and contest for aerial duels. Stunning crosses remain the only way to whip in a quick, dangerous delivery. Overall, the passing game is a more thoughtful and strategic, and in my opinion, that's a step forward. Shooting is one of the biggest improvements in eFootball 2026. The variety of shots has increased significantly. Power shots and finesse shots now have more natural curl and dip, moving away from the straight line trajectories of the previous build. Volleys demand precision timing. When you mistime them, you'll see the ball fly over the bar, which feels both realistic and punishing. Headers are another highlight. Thanks to the improved ball physics, downward headers and looping efforts behave exactly as they should, and you can finally feel in control during an aerial finish. Chip shots are much more effective, though still slightly unrealistic in terms of the ball speed and trajectory. Stunning shots feel mostly unchanged, and frustratingly, I found myself hitting the post more often than I'd like. Overall, shot speed seems slightly higher, animations are smoother, and you'll see more natural saves and misses. This creates more realistic scorelines and reduces the arcade-like feel of past versions. That said, goals don't always deliver the excitement they should. The impact still feels a little bit muted, and that lack of emotional payoff hurts the overall shooting experience. Player movement and physics. While player movement is a major strength this year, sprinting feels responsive whether you have the ball or not, and you can make sharp directional changes at the last second. However, you need to manage stamina carefully, as overshooting your position when defending is a real risk. Players feel weighty in the right way. They're not sluggish, but they carry momentum realistically. For me, this balance is reminiscent of PES 6 and even the PES 2018 demo. Shielding is effective, allowing you to hold off defenders with confidence. Physical duels are significantly better, with clear feedback on who is winning or losing the battle. Collisions are also improved, looking more natural and less robotic. Dribbling feels really smooth, with that left stick control standing out as a joy to use. Skill moves are sharper and more effective than ever. In fact, some might argue they're overpowered, especially the Marseille turn and Bagidi spin, for example. They are extremely strong right now. They've gone from being largely useless in previous updates to borderline dominant, which could frustrate competitive players but also adds flair to the game. Defending is now far more manual, which increases difficulty but rewards skill and timing. Slide tackles are quicker and more effective now, while standing tackles still feel solid and interceptions are far more reliable. The problems begin with the defensive AI. Positioning is inconsistent and the players can often be left completely unmarked. This creates frustration, especially in tight matches. Shoulder barges are another glaring issue that I keep banging on about. They can be spammed repeatedly and often win the ball cleanly when they really should be resulting in a foul. Until Konami addresses this, the shoulder barges will remain a cheap tactic. Goalkeepers are improved, producing more realistic saves and reacting more naturally. They also charge off their line more effectively when instructed, which adds a valuable tactical option. However, they're still inconsistent. At times they'll pull off the spectacular saves and at others they'll concede weak shots that should have been routine stops. Ball physics are outstanding in this update. The ball spins, curls and dips in ways that feel far more lifelike than ever before. Free kicks, long range strikes and crosses all benefit from this system. This is arguably one of the strongest elements of eFootball 2026. AI behavior is more mixed. On the positive side, the CPU now uses skill moves effectively with the right players, making them tough to defend against. And on the downside, defensive positioning is a little bit unreliable for your whole team, and strikers often get through on goal too easily for no fault of your own. Off the ball movement can feel a little bit static depending on the formation and team playstyle. As a result, quick counter and long ball counter playstyles are particularly effective and may dominate the current meta. Responsiveness has improved significantly. The connection between controller input and on-screen action feels immediate, which enhances the entire gameplay experience. Player awareness has been raised, with timing becoming more important than ever. Whether you're going for a volley, a header, or an interception, precision is rewarded. Where the game falls short is player ID. Individual players still don't feel unique enough. Aside from the difference in stats, most players move and behave similarly. The distinctiveness that PES once prided itself on is still missing here. The CPU offers a reasonable challenge on higher difficulties, but many veteran players may find it a little bit easier than last year's build. Refereeing is generally quite good now, but the failure to call shoulder barges undermines the system. So where does eFootball 2026 stand? In many ways, this is the most polished version of the game since its rebrand. The passing is more deliberate, the shooting is more varied, player movement is weighty and responsive, physical duels finally feel authentic, the ball physics are the best they've ever been, and overall responsiveness has improved dramatically, but the game is still incomplete. Defensive AI is unreliable, shoulder barges remain broken, and the player ID continues to be underwhelming. And beyond gameplay, the content offering is so shallow. There's still no Master League. Outside of climbing to Division 1 and grinding events to earn coins for more packs, there is little to keep players engaged long term. For fans who love the deep single player experiences of PES, this absence remains a huge disappointment. Most concerning of all, the game feels scripted. You will still concede last minute goals. You will still concede goals straight from kickoff, and you will experience momentum swings that feel predetermined. This undermines the realism and remains one of the most frustrating aspects of the series. So whilst eFootball 2026 is a step forward in my opinion, perhaps the best version we've seen in years, it is still far from being the complete football game fans have been asking for. It's polished, but it's not finished. That's my review of eFootball 2026. There are genuine improvements here, but also long-standing problems for Konami to address. And let me know down in the comments what your experience has been with the update. Have you enjoyed the overall gameplay, or are the scripting and lack of content still holding the series back? Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.